Hey, Donald here. So today I'm going to talk about how does A/B testing work with dynamic content on your website, such as a single page application or a progressive web application. So first of all, what is dynamic content? Dynamic content is an element on your website that changes dynamically without having your entire page to be refreshed. So it could be something like a social media, infinite scrolling. For example, when you're scrolling through Twitter, you will see that you were constantly fed with new posts as you scroll down without having the entire page refreshed, right? So, or it could also be an e-commerce site that handles add to cart button and calculating the pricing, the quantity, and etc. So here's an example. Here I have an e-commerce site and notice how when I click on the add to cart now on the button and a new panel opens up. And this is actually a dynamic content, this entire part right here. So how do I know that this is a dynamic content? So whenever I close it and I open it up, and for a brief moment you can see that it is actually empty and it loads up the content dynamically. So after I close it, I open up, I close it, and I open it up. As you can see, there's a loading bar right there, very briefly. And yeah, so this is actually a dynamic content. And let's say I wanted to make an A/B testing. I wanted to add a shipping as free. I wanted to add that information right here. And I wanted to test that out, right? So here I have created a test on MyDa with the shipping free information to try to convince people to see if we can get more conversion out of it, right? So after I have made the change, I can go on to view the variant. And when I click on add to cart now, the changes doesn't shows up. And why is that? This is actually because it is a dynamic content. How A/B testing usually works is that it will only so how A/B testing usually work is that we will only apply the chosen version immediately after the page have loaded. So what that means is if I refresh this page, when the page loads, we determine which version to show and apply it immediately after the page has loaded. So after this point, after I refresh the page, after this point, unfortunately, whatever changes that happens after this point, we won't be applying them to the intended version anymore. So this is changes won't be applying right here because it has already passed the initial A/B testing applying stage. So in order to make it work, you have to go to the configuration tab, scroll down to the trigger variant change. And right here, as you can see, it says that it will apply the changes directly immediately after the page loads. So I have to change this to a specific DOM changes. And here you have to insert the value of the elements that you wanted to monitor. In this case, it is the cart container. So what that means is the script will constantly monitoring on the cart container and see if there's any changes happens. So whenever someone make a change, it will reapply the test variant right here. So if you go ahead and save it, and if you go ahead and save this, and you should be able to see it work out like this. Let me show you. So after you click add to cart button, as you can see, the changes has applied on the page. The shipping free. So here you go. This is how A/B testing work with dynamic content. I hope that helps. If you'd like to learn more, go to www.myda.so.